Hello, and welcome to our third installment of the 1Source Women Crush Wednesday series. I am Tiffany Presme, the founder of 1Source Management Consulting, and we are the home of peaceful project management. Today, I am talking to Ebony Gaynor, who I met a while back on a project to help small and micro businesses. Ebony is the founder of Ever Evolving Consulting, a business relationship management company specializing in business development and project management. Her team works closely with clients to ensure long-term success, specializing in client and company development. Ebony is also the recently appointed program chair of the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce and the vice chair of the Professional Development Committee for AMAC, and that's the Airport Minority Advisory Committee. She's also a mom of 3, a bonus mom of 4, and a grandmother of 8. So she is a busy woman. I thank you so much for joining me today, Ebony. Thank you.
Absolutely. So happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
I will open things up with a question that I like to ask small business owners, which is, how did you get here? How did you get here? What was your path to business ownership? What did it look like for you?
It was long. It was a lot of learning. My path actually started in corporate America. I worked in banking and the wireless and aviation industry for 20 years. And within maybe the first, I'm going to say 11 years of working for corporate America, I decided that I was going to venture out and become an entrepreneur. And it actually wasn't by choice. It was because I have my youngest daughter, had a lot of medical issues growing up as a child, and it required her to have several surgeries. And she was home sometimes more than she was at school. And so working in corporate America, if she was home, I was home. And I knew that no job was going to continue to say, no matter how great they were with the FMLA and giving you time off or, but I said, at some point they're going to get tired of me taking all this time off. So I've got to figure out a way to make sure that I'm covered. And so I started freelancing and working with business owners as an executive assistant, doing one-off projects. And later on, I decided I was looking up and looking at my numbers, and my corporate paycheck was equaling or my freelancing paychecks were equally or exceeding my corporate paychecks. And I said, I might be doing something here. And so maybe after a year of doing that, I started a virtual assistant company. And that was in 2007. And that was before anybody knew what a virtual assistant was. And so I was constantly explaining to people what a virtual assistant was. But my business was booming, mostly with out of the country clients in China, England, places like that where it was the norm. And so I decided one day I was going to take the leap and do this thing full time. So I started Virtually Perfected, which was my first company. That's actually still in existence today. And I just went for it. However, everyone knows as an entrepreneur, when you're learning the process, it's a bumpy road. So there were a couple times that I jumped back into corporate America to expand my portfolio and learn different things. And in 2017, I said, okay, this is it. I'm not coming. When I leave this time, I'm not coming back. So Virtually Perfected was, it was booming. It was doing what it needed to do, but I was bored with it. And so I said, okay, well, if I'm bored with this, then that means I'm growing to an extent that I can do this in my sleep. I need something else that's a little bit more challenging. And I said, I've gathered enough experience over the years. I noticed that I was coaching more people on how to start businesses and helping them implement their business. And so I started my consulting firm, which was at one time E&S Consulting and Management, and evolved into Ever Evolving Consulting, which is where I am today. And so I work with small, micro, and minority-owned businesses and business development and strategic planning and project management. And my area of focus is, like I said, micro and small businesses, but my niche is in the airport and aviation industry and helping those businesses get into the airport and to start, scale, and grow there. So that's a brief.
Oh, wow. Okay, so
I guess it was a
well, one, I was going to say, solidarity when it comes to the reasons and becoming an entrepreneur partially to help effectively manage your family responsibilities.
Absolutely.
That definitely, I had a little bit of that happening as well with a mother-in-law who had a cancer diagnosis and, wanting and needing to have a position and a job that was closer to home or at home. I love that. But the other thing that you said that I really caught on to is that essentially you are challenge chasing. So when something becomes too easy, you're like, I need a new challenge.
Yeah, never get comfortable. You can't get comfortable. When you get comfortable and complacent and you just get, this is just when you wake up, you're not excited to get up in the morning. Well, for me, I'll say that. I'm not excited. If I'm not excited to get up in the morning and do what it is that I created a space for me to be able to do, then that means I'm no longer engaged and my clients are not going to get 100% of what it is that I have to offer. So that means that, it's time to go up another level. So that's always the case for me. And then sometimes I have to ask myself, why do I make this the case for me?
I think the challenge really helps ensure engagement.
Absolutely.
Having something to reach for is what keeps, I know for me personally, is what keeps me tied in and gives me that boost that I need to, push through it, because this challenge is not going to defeat me.
Exactly.
And don't let me win too easy.
To be in, though. It's a great place to be in. And the challenge is it's always the chase for the next. So, and it keeps you invigorated, it keeps you young, it keeps you going, it keeps you always wanting more. So
yes,
I'm scared that I won't be able to slow down, but they say when you slow down is when most people, pass on. So maybe I don't want to slow down.
Right? No need to slow down over here.
Yeah.
So now that we're talking about your path, I guess my next question would really be advice for someone who is thinking about starting a small business, thinking about getting, putting in that paperwork and getting your tax ID and maybe getting a website type of deal. Like, what advice would you have for new business owners?
Go for it. Like Nike says, just do it. If there is something in you that is waking you up in the middle of the night, or it's hard for you to go to sleep because you're excited about it, at the same time you're just as scared to do it as you are excited, that's when it's time to push the button and just do it. You're going to figure it out as you go along. A lot of people start their businesses as hobbies. And if it's something that you really, really love, take that hobby and turn it into a business. Get that business name, get the tax ID, start the website, build your social media accounts, just do it. I would absolutely encourage anybody that's starting a business to find a mentor and or a coach, and to find a business development program. There are so many out here that are free even. And get yourself into one of those business development programs that will help you build your foundation, because that is key and crucial to the success of your business and the longevity of your business. And then also never stop learning. My virtual assistant business name is literally Virtually Perfected, and I am a perfectionist at heart. And so the only way for me to reach perfection is to keep learning, because life is, and I'm shameless plug, life is ever evolving. That's what we're doing. We're constantly growing. It's constantly changing. And so the only way to keep up with it is to make sure that you're always in the know and, learning new skills, adding to your portfolio, and continuously growing. So that would be my advice.
Excellent. And I'm glad you brought up some of those resources as well. Like, I know as a small business getting started that the Maryland Small Business Development Center certainly helped me. And I know that there are a lot of other resources out there. And that actually leads right quite nicely into my next question, which is, we have a new governor and we have a new lieutenant governor. Yay.
Yes.
There is a lot of movement and excitement at the state level with the Moore Miller administration, and a lot of exciting opportunities on the way for small businesses. So for small businesses that exist now, what advice would you give them on positioning, like how to position yourself in this climate?
So I would encourage small businesses. The number one thing that I am such a stickler for is certification. I don't care if you're a small business, a disadvantaged business, a minority-owned business, a woman-owned business. There is a certification out there for you. Please get certified. In addition, get your name and your business into those databases so that you can bid on these plethora of contracts that are coming out in the city, in the state, and nationally as well. And I'm not going to say that it is a simple process, but if you want to grow in this industry, it is a necessary process. So learn what needs to be learned to jump into these different portals that allow you to bid on projects. Learn what it takes to bid, to submit an RFP. You want to engage the different networks that your business is connected to or can be connected to. And a lot of people go through certification and they don't know how to utilize their certification. It's very, very important to also learn where, when, and how to use your certification to benefit your business. It's almost like it should be a requirement, I feel like. And for a lot of jobs, it is a requirement for small business, for minority businesses to get some type of certification before they can bid on projects. Mm-hmm. I can honestly tell you that it's only been in the last 3 years for myself that I've gotten into the bidding industry. You might as well say, because it really is an industry at times. Sometimes you are going through learning what the companies need, and you look up and 6 weeks have passed and you're just submitting your bid. But it's important, because once you get in there, it's like the floodgates are open. Mm-hmm. The opportunities are there for us to take advantage of. We just have to learn how to do it and when to do it in a manner that allows us to get the project. So that's what I would say.
Absolutely. And I agree with that. And one of the things that we were talking about earlier that I would love to bring back up is just, because I feel like it's one of those conversations that happens over and over again, and that's working on your business versus working in your business. Yes. Getting certified is certainly working on your business. Uh-huh. And, when you are an entrepreneur, and especially if you have some contracts coming in and time is short, we will take the path that has the money attached to it. You know what I mean? Because the bills are not going to wait.
Absolutely.
So, definitely what I would like to see in the state of Maryland is a way for, small businesses and eligible businesses to be able to get certified and make that process as smooth and easy as possible. I believe there's an MBE night coming up with the governor's office.
It is. Yes, it is. I think I'm supposed to be there.
I'll be there with a list. I'll be there with a list of requests.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. In addition to the certification, joining these associations are very important. Networking, and I say this every time I do an interview, I do not like networking. It's not my thing. I am the one that and I'm honest with it. I mean, even when I'm doing networking, I that, what do they call it? The small talk not my thing. It's just not. And, I make it my thing because I have to in the business that I'm in, but it's really not my thing. Naturally, I'm an introvert. But it is a necessity. Me being program chair for the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber and being vice chair for the Professional Development Committee for AMAC I literally had to make myself do it. But I did it because I knew that it would assist me in growing my business. And so I'm not saying jump in and be program chair of a nonprofit organization right off the bat, but join, get into the room, attend the events because everything is not what you know. A lot of it is who you know. And I know a lot of people don't like to say that all the time, but if we're honest with ourselves, that it is sometimes it really is who you know. To be able to make a phone call and say, I need assistance with, and the person on the other end says, well, I might not be able to do it, but let me connect you to someone who can. That's very, very important.
Yeah.
Very important. So, yeah.
So strengthening that network.
Absolutely.
I think we're in AMAC together.
Yeah.
But look, now I'm going to have to look up the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber.
Come on board.
I'm going to look them right on up.
I'm looking for people for my committee, so.
Okay, so my next question is really about, challenges. So as a small business owner, especially as somebody who's been a small business owner for as long as you have been, what surprised you about owning your own business? What challenge kind of snuck up on you?
The challenge actually that snuck up on me was imposter syndrome. I had a really bad case of imposter syndrome. I just felt like I didn't belong. I felt like I knew what I knew. I knew my stuff. And if I sat at a table with one or two people and we were talking about something business related, I'm totally engaged. But if we're sitting at a leadership breakfast, I would be the one in the corner. I would have a notepad. I'm taking notes, but I would never open my mouth to, give my opinion. And I remember someone asking me, why did you do that? Do you know how good you are? And I'm saying to myself, by myself, I know how good I am. But, when you're amongst, when you're not in your mind the smartest person in the room, I used to just scrunchy up in the corner, and I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be that person because I didn't want to get it wrong, and I didn't want to be looked at as I didn't know what I was doing, even though I knew I did. And it took conscious effort for me to get out there and put myself, at the table where I knew I belonged. So imposter syndrome was, it was shocking to me because I didn't have that issue before becoming an entrepreneur. When I worked in corporate America and I knew something, it was like, you guys are doing this wrong. Let me, this is the way it needs to be done. Y'all are wasting time. Let's get this done. Come on, stop playing. And I'm still trying to figure out why I had that issue as much as I did when starting out as an entrepreneur. I'm still working through so that I can explain it better to those that I coach and mentor.
You're describing a common feeling, though. Like, I think it's easier when we are inside of a larger structure to say, hey, I can lean on the structure and I know this thing and I've got these things to back me up. Here's my resource. Versus saying, I know that the gold is all in here. It's inside. It's in me. And, I'm going to tell you about it and I believe it. And if you're smart, you're going to believe it too.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It was, but it was a process. It took me a few years to get over that hump. And like I said, I'm an introvert by nature anyway. But I still knew what I was talking about because I was successful at what I was doing. So I had to know something, right? So I really think that fear of failure played a huge role in it. And when you're getting around these people that have been in business for years and it's rolling off their tongue like, they wake up out of their sleep talking it, and you're new to that world. It's just a matter of adjusting to it and getting into the feel of things and understanding how it works. And then once you're there, then it's off to the races. So it was a process, but that was one of the things that surprised me for myself. Business wise, I think understanding the full weight and responsibility of being a business owner. You work for different companies and you see how things run, and in the back of your mind, you're saying, I can do this so much better. Nobody really understands the intricate details of owning and running, a business until you really put both feet in and you do it for yourself. So that was, I don't want to say it was surprising. It was a task that I had to learn. Mm-hmm. I had to learn. Mm-hmm. But glad I did. So glad I did. Absolutely.
Yes. I'm glad you brought all that stuff up. Look, there's some common threads here. I know personally, I am still working on feeling confident in a space and, feeling like it's okay for me to share. And, if I don't say the exact right thing, the world will not fall. It will be okay.
It really will be okay. And you know what you find out? So I remember I was on a conference call. It was a Zoom. And I literally said, you know what? I'm going to stop. Because sometimes we play the role until we get it, and we're playing. I said, I'm stop doing that. I'm gonna just flat out tell these people, I don't know. I'm the green person in the room today. So I am literally soaking in what it is that you guys are putting out there. And they respect that so much more. They want to give it to you when they know that you're eager to learn and you want to hear and you want to grow. That, I've gotten calls from people saying, how can I help? Because I stopped being the person that felt like they needed to know everything and started being the person that was upfront with the fact that I didn't know everything, but I wanted to know as much as I could. I wanted to be that sponge. Mm-hmm. So that helped me as well. And what a lot of them said was, I got a couple of people said, well, Ebony, we're in the same boat. And I'm saying to myself, but you've been doing this for 20 years. You've been doing this for 20 years. No, we're in the same boat as far as that is concerned. So everybody is green at some point, no matter how long they've been in any industry or any business. So, yeah.
Nice. Okay, well, we about to wrap this thing up, but I have one last question for you.
Okay.
How do you find peace while you juggle entrepreneurship with all of your other roles and responsibilities?
So let me tell you, the one great thing about being an entrepreneur for me is I'm at a place now where I can really, really can create my own schedule, right? Mm-hmm. And so for me, so everybody normally has 7 days in a week. I have 3 days in a day. So I ultimately have 21 days in a week for me. So my day is broken up into 5 a.m. to 10 a.m., 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. So in that, and then there's sleep. But within those 3 days, the first from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. is my time. I wake up in the morning. I start with my prayer. I do my meditation. Then I start my regular morning routine, which includes I take 20 minutes every morning, and I have this app called Headway, and it allows you it's like Cliff Notes for books. Mm-hmm. And so for 20 minutes every day, I read a book. So I get to say I read a book, I read a book a day because it gives you the Cliff Notes, but it takes about 20 minutes to read it. And so it's called Headway, and I do that for 20 minutes. I do my yoga. I do 30 minutes of yoga every morning. If I feel like going to the gym, I go to the gym. If I don't, then I'm doing something else, journaling or something of that nature. And then I have a book of the month that I read, the full book of. So right now I'm on Michelle Obama's, let's see, what is it? The Light We Carry. So I'm reading that right now, and she's my ultimate hero. So, but that is my morning, and I make my tea, and I make a homemade tea. That is my morning at Monday through Friday, every single morning. And on Saturday and Sunday, I do whatever I want. If it means I'm sleeping in on Saturday, then I'm sleeping in on Saturday. And if I want to eat French toast and eggs and sausage and all the cheese in the world, that's what I'm doing. So I find my peace. I make my peace. It's a requirement. When I feel I have always suffered with anxiety. And so when I feel it coming up, if it's something on my calendar, it's got to be rescheduled because that self-care, my body is telling me that, we need some self-care. We need some self-love. And so that means I have to give it to it because I am the best version of myself when I allow myself the opportunity to take care of self.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's my piece.
That is, yes. That is a big yes for me because I realized, I really like getting things done and I like helping people and I like to do all of these things and I love a challenge. But when the challenge is over, I don't want to feel burnt out, worn out, skin dry, dehydrated, hair brittle, you know what I mean? Just because I took my own physical body through it in order to get something done. So yes, definitely. I love having the ability to be active every day, to, meditate, pray every day, just to have some quiet time every day, because that's what makes it possible. I mean, like when I go and have a good swim, when I come back to the house, to this little office right here.
Exactly. Right. You want to get stuff done. You got the energy to do it.
The ideas are flowing. The fingers are flying across the keyboard. It's a whole different energy.
I look at my list and I'm like, oh no, all this checked off. I did all of that. Okay, great. Yeah, it's a necessity. It's not even, and it's crazy because my daughter runs my virtual assistant company now, and I'm looking at myself when I see her. Because at the age that she is right when I started my virtual assistant company. And I remember I was so stressed. And I tell her all the time, you got to stop. I'm trying to tell you so you don't do what I did, so that, 10 years later, the light bulb finally goes off. I'm like, I feel like that's why I went through it, so you don't. But you got to give yourself that self-care. If you have the means to, go get a massage at least once a month. Treat yourself, ladies, to go in. And men, too, to getting a manicure and a pedicure even if it's only once a quarter, even if you have to put, a little bit aside each week to be able to do it, you deserve it and you need it. Self-care is so important to the success of your business. I do a business development cohort, a 12-week cohort myself. And the first day of class is fixing the you in your business. Because if you are not showing up as your best and authentic self, your business is not showing up. It's not being presented in that way. So that's the piece for me.
Well, Ebony, I could talk to you all day. I love it. You have so much wisdom and so much to offer. And I'm so glad that you agreed to come and talk with me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Good.